Hello, this is News Desk with Mamisi Nyamiche Thompson. Coming up, Trades Union Congress asks government to double up its fight against illegal mining as it moves to Kwanyako to assess Galamsey's impact on Ghana's water sources. Also, opposition New Patriotic Party's Ashanti Regional Chairman Bernard NPP Presidential to be granted bail today. We hear from his lawyer. And the opposition New Patriotic Party to ballot for its January 2026 presidential primaries. These plus business updates on our desk. Don't go away. We'll be right back. The steering committee of the Trades Union Congress TUC Ghana is meeting at Kwanyako and Birim headworks in the central region to assess firsthand the devastating impact of illegal mining on Ghana's water bodies. The visit follows growing concern over the alarming pollution levels that have forced the Ghana Water Company Limited to intermittently shut down treatment plants at Kwanyako due to high turbidity and contamination from Galamsey operations along the Birim River. Now, residents and workers have repeatedly complained of discolored, unsafe water and reduced supply, while environmental experts warn that the continued destruction of riverbanks poses a great threat to livelihoods and public health. We'll be getting more from the TUC on this shortly, but let's go to the Ghana Water Company itself, where it says it is considering taking legal action after some of its staff were allegedly attacked at the Prophetic Hill Chapel headed by Prophet Nigel Gacy during a disconnection exercise on Thursday. According to officials of the Accra East region of the company, the team had visited the church premises at Dome to disconnect water supply over an outstanding debt of 6,923 Ghana cedis. However, they were met with resistance from some individuals at the church. Now, speaking to Joy News, the Regional Communications Manager, Nanaya Oberima confirmed the incident, describing it as unfortunate and unacceptable, and says they are considering legal action.
A month ago, the church, Prophetic Hill Chapel at Dome, were disconnected for non-payment of water bills. Later, when our customer care assistant went to the place, he realized that the facility had been reconnected, meaning they found a way of getting water back into the premises. And the meter, which is the only instrument that we put in customers' premises to be able to measure the amount of water consumed by the facility, had been removed. And this is illegal. This is against the law. Tampering with the facility of a public utility is illegal. So we decided that we will send our team there to go and disconnect again. So today we were in an operational meeting when one of my officers called me out and said I should come and listen to something. I went there, and as I listened to, he was on a call with somebody, and I heard a lot of noise at the background. So they told me that they had been to the church premises to effect the disconnection again, but they are being prevented. There were some policemen and some people, were preventing them from effecting the disconnection. So quickly, I called the regional police PRO that we need a reinforcement of police officers so that we would be able to carry out the disconnection exercise. So eventually we went to the place, and I brought newsmen around because this is a serious matter and that the public must know. That's too bad, and we are not taking that anymore. And in fact, this is the reason I'm doing this interview. So we want it to be known by everybody in Ghana that those days are gone when people could reconnect themselves and get by with it. No. This one, we are going to tell our lawyer if there is a need for some legal remedies to be sought, we will do it.
Well, we go back to our first story where TUC is going to the Kwanyako Waterworks, and we speak to our correspondent Kofi J, who joins us on the phone lines. Kofi, are the TUC reps in the region yet?
Yes, currently, executive from the Trade Union Congress are here at Kwanyako Water Treatment Plant to get start finding out what is really going on. Because according to them, they've been hearing on social media and television that the Bayelsa has been polluted, and because of that, Ghana Water Company are not able to produce water for residents. And now that we are speaking to you now, this Kwanyako treatment plant serves about 10 districts in the central region, specifically Elsina West, Gomwa East, Gomwa West, Aguna East, Aguna West, and Gomwa Central, part of Kunti and Efutu. But for the past 1 month now, residents this community, talking about maybe 1 million population, are not having access to water. And majority of them depends on rainwater, and part others also depend on stagnant water. So this morning, executives from the TUC are here in their numbers. All the executives are here to ascertain what is really going on there. And according to them, from here, they will be moving to HB and Lower Pepem, where they have information that the Galanceers are polluting the river at that stretch. So from here, they will go to HB and Lower Pepem, and from HB and Lower Pepem to Asimoda in the eastern region. So according to them, those areas are also being affected by this Galanceer activity. So when we came here, Ghana Water Company Management, when they were briefing the TUC executive, they were saying that the river has been polluted with activities of illegal mining, and as I'm speaking to you now, currently they are using different pumps to pump some of the water. Because according to them, the initial pumps under the downstream about 20 meters cannot be used again. So now they are using surface pumps, which they have started, water treatment water for some people, because for the past few months now, some of the residents are not getting access to water. So they are here in their numbers, and they are now briefing these executives. So I'm just trying to see if we can get some of them executives and talk to them. So as I'm speaking, these executives are here to ascertain what is really going on here.
Right. All right. So, Kofi, when we get updates, we'll definitely come back to you for that.
Okay. Okay.
The opposition New Patriotic Party will this morning ballot for its January 2026 presidential primaries. This will determine where each of the 5 candidates will be on the ballot. A letter from the NPP concerning that balloting this morning will be brought to you shortly. Well, the NPP's Director of Elections and Research, Evans Nimako, joins me for a conversation on this morning. We're grateful for your time. Mr. Nimako, really this morning, what will be the process?
Thank you very much for having me. The party has made all the necessary arrangements for the electoral committee to have balloting done as part of our processes towards the conduct of these internal presidential elections. The party has put in place arrangements to ensure that we have free, fair, credible elections to elect our presidential candidate for the 2028 general election. What has been done so far is that after vetting, the committee's report was adopted by the National Executive Committee and National Council. And this paved the way for the next line of engagement, which is the conduct of the ballot, which is going to be done by the Electoral Commission. And so this morning, aspirants have been invited, whether they are coming on their own or by their agent, to go through this simple exercise. After which will come out with notice of poll, and then the EC will go ahead to do the printing of the ballot papers. And so we are on course with our roadmap to ensure smooth, free, fair
transparent internal presidential elections.
Well, so do we have all the representatives of the aspirants all themselves available?
Well, the party sent communication out, and we expect to have this program done at 11 a.m.
Okay.
As we speak, it's just 15 minutes past 10.
All right. And you've emphasized that only aspirants who've met the July 29 guidelines would take part. Have they all met those guidelines? All 5 candidates, have they fully complied?
Well, so as I said, the report of the vetting committee, the committee that was chaired by Dr. Atokofo, was adopted by the National Executive Committee and National Council. This then tells you that all who apply appear before the vetting committee. Recommendations sent to NEC and National Council are to appear today to go through the balloting exercise.
Well, we're reading from graphic earlier this morning. There were some issues with Kwabena Japon's aspirancy. Has there been any issues with Kwabena Japan? Has he been able to meet all the criteria?
Well, as I said, the report of the vetting committee was adopted. And so I don't know where this is coming from. If the party conducts National Executive Committee meetings, National Council meetings, and there are any issue to be put out, it will be an official statement of the party. And as we speak, I have not cited any such communication from National Council, National Executive Committee. And so maybe graphic will be the best to speak to their side.
Right. All right. We're grateful for your time, Evans, for giving us updates on this. We'll certainly come maybe when the process begins or when it ends to get updates from you on that. Well, we have on the line Kwesi Kwarteng. You'll be telling us more about what their expectations are on this balloting process. Kwesi Kwarteng, so you just heard Gary Evans Nimako there. What are your expectations this morning for your aspirants?
Oh, our expectations are not very wild. We are just preparing ourselves to go to the place. Currently, a few of the team members are converged at the candidate's house, and then we are just preparing to move. I'm on the road myself to join them. The time they gave was 11 a.m., so it is expected that we will be there earlier. We'll pick any number. At the end of the day, I mean, we are of the view that Kenya's ascension to the throne 2028 is divine. So every number that we pick on the ballot, we are of the full conviction that is the doing of the Lord. We'll be grateful to God, go and campaign to the people, and wait for 31st for the confirmation to happen.
But does your aspirant have any favorite number in mind?
I'm not sure. I'm not so sure. I mean, a pool that is on probability basis, I'm not sure you have to be fixated on any number. People have had 8 and 1. Last election, others were on number 1 and so long. So any number, especially now they are just 5, as far as any number, we are good to go. I'm not sure we are so fixated on any special number.
So how about the campaign process so far? Your candidate, has he gone all over the country, you know, seen whatever he has to do before this time?
We have localized teams in the various constituencies and polling stations selling the message of the candidate. But in terms of the candidate himself, his personal round, as of now, he's been able to finish with 4 regions. But the advantage is that we are doing all the full electoral college when you get to every constituency. So we meet from executive of the constituency, past executives, up to the polling station level. So that is the advantage for us. You realize other campaigns that I failed, I'll fail to mention names. I mean, they just meet executives. A lot of times they don't even meet the polling station executives. So we are moving at a steady pace, but we are indeed making progress.
Right. Thank you so much, Kwesi Kwating, for that update. We also have on the line with us Adumako JC, and he speaks for Brian Echampong. Mr. JC, so how far with your Adumako KC, how far with your preparations for today?
Thanks for the opportunity. I think the party has set today for balloting. It's an extraordinary thing, but we're not particularly concerned about the number. Since it's just 5 of us, we're more, it's a procedural thing. So we'll come get it done and then move on with our daily campaign work. Yeah.
Presenting him at the party headquarters.
Yes.
I didn't get that. I was wondering whether you are coming yourself or Brian is coming.
Well, we haven't concluded on it, but what will happen is that it's possible he may appoint one of us to carry it out for him. But invariably, like I said, there are 5 contenders, and I don't think where you are playing is of very important for us.
But so far, what's been the campaign trail for Brian? Has he been all over the country yet? The last time we spoke, he hadn't quite completed most of the areas.
Well, we are currently in Greater Accra. We've done the entire Eastern region. We've done some of Shanti region. We'll do 9 days in Accra. We'll move back to Shanti region. And it's quite well. We are with Greater on based on how people have been out. And I must the kind of state of the past. People either were not decided politics game, and now back in very doing politics. So and our message is solid and very well, and keep reiterating that it is important that we bring candidates that can win us 2028. And we think that Dr. Rene Champon has the capacity, the capability, and the resource, and the knack and knowledge for us. So the deficit which the party has, close to 2 million in the last election, he is the person who stands a stronger chance with less baggage to win us those deficit back.
Thank you very much, Dr. Dixon Adumako Kisi, for that update. We'll definitely keep an eye on this ballot. We have Yao Poko Mensah on the line too. Yao, how is preparation for your aspirant?
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Great. So I was asking how preparations are for your aspirant. Are you there or he's coming himself?
Oh, no. Let me say a good morning to yourself and to our lovely viewers. My candidate, Dr. Yaosia Duchum, has delegated some few members of his team to represent him at the balloting end. Currently, the team is on its way to the party headquarters for the process. So he's in high spirit and he's waiting for the outcome of the ballot process. Currently, as I indicated, we're on our way to the party and to begin the process.
Where does Dr. Yaduchum anticipate he will be on the ballot?
There is nothing like an anticipation as to a specific number. We know the horse is prepared for battle and safety is of the Lord. We've left everything in the hands of the Almighty. He is the one directing our steps. We are quite optimistic that the outcome of the process will be smooth and the number that we will get will be what the good Lord has prepared for us and eventually will lead to the victory of Dr. Yaosia Duchum on 31st of January 2026. So no specific number in mind. we've left everything in the hands of the maker. We believe we will pick a favorable number that will do the trick for us.
But, you know, in past years, people have assigned divine meanings to these numbers, at least. Now we know it's just from 1 to 5. Are there any specific or special meanings these numbers mean to your aspirants?
I can only speak on physical matters. I don't know what happens in the spiritual realm. But as I indicated to you, the most important thing is being part of the process and having a fair representation and eventually picking up a number that's prepared out. We want to leave everything out to the maker himself. He's the one directing our footsteps, and he has been guiding us through all these while with our campaign, what we are supposed to say, what we are supposed to do, etc. And so we are in his hands, and he's the one leading this charge. And we believe that he will do us the honors by giving us the appropriate number as expected.
Right. Yao Pokumensa, spokesperson for Yao Indojum's camp. Thank you very much, Yao.
Thank you.
Well, away from the NPP, President of the Ghana Association of Banks, John Ewa, has raised alarm over what he describes as a troubling trend. Nearly 70% of medical doctors who take loans from local banks default on repayment after leaving the country. Speaking on Joy News PM Express Business Edition, Mr. Ewa said many of these doctors secure loans ranging between 120,000 Ghana cedis and 150,000 Ghana cedis, use them to process travel documents and then migrate abroad without settling their debts. He expressed concern that professionals once regarded as financially trustworthy are contributing to loan losses in the banking sector. Mr. Ewa revealed that the association has begun engaging the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to work through diplomatic channels to curb the practice, describing the situation as both disappointing and damaging to the integrity of Ghana's financial system.
How diligent can you be? Let me tell you.
The credit officers doing a good job.
Let me tell you.
The escrow committee and the credit committee doing a good job by doing a proper assessment.
We have heard of doctors. These are on the moral pecking order. When you see a doctor, you 100%, a medical doctor, you almost 100% assume that they are not fallible. They don't make mistakes. And things like borrowing and payment will come to them naturally. But do you know what doctors are doing to the banking system?
What are they doing?
Particularly those who are offshoring their services, like migrating to other jurisdictions to work.
What are they doing?
They have bank accounts. They use their bank statements. They have, personal loans. The bank will not ask you exactly what are you going to buy. It's personal loan. It's personal to you. They will come to a bank, take like, let's say 120,000, 150,000 Ghana cedis, take visa and jump off and leave the loan hanging. Wherever they are going, they are working there. They are earning. And one would think that as medical practitioners, they would just say, I have a liability in Ghana, which enabled me to demonstrate that I can fund my travel. So let me come and settle. About 70% of them are not paying. These are medical doctors, people we hold in high esteem, to the extent that at some point we're even attempting to write to the embassies to seek clearance from banks before they allow visa process. No, I mean, but there are processes we are going through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to ensure that the diplomatic corps, you don't just wake up and write.
But I'm saying this doesn't just come today. It's been a long.
But something that but
are you going to move soon? To
we've already there's a letter that is logged at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, which is trying to achieve that. But that is a reactive mechanism.
Well, we go back to our first story where we speak to Joshua and Sahis in Kwanyako in the central region and tell us more about what they've been experiencing over there. Mr. Ansah, we're grateful for your time on our desk. What have you heard or seen so far being at the Kwanyako water plant?
Thank you very much. Just a minute.
Mr. Ansah, can you hear me?
Yes. Hello, I can hear you now.
Great. I'm asking, what have you been told so far since you got to the Kwanyako water plant?
Yes, really, it's very sad. What you have heard and seen with our naked eyes this morning is very, very, very sad. If you don't take immediate action, I can bet that it's going to be very difficult for Ghanaians to have water.
Well,
When India went pumping site, that the old that source, government now affect source in the water, and they have to reinstall new pumps at the surface to enable them draw some few water for use. In this case, it means that if steps are not taken quickly, definitely the whole place is going to shut down completely, and water is going to be a very scarce commodity for Ghanaians to drink.
Well, you know the TUC has been very hard on Galamsey, especially last year, threatening to shut down, go on a demonstration to protest against this. Today, you are the Kwanyako water plant and experiencing the impact directly, firsthand. How does this inform your decision moving forward as a body, a labor body, you know, experiencing what Galamsey is doing to our water bodies?
Thank you, my sister. I think that where we have gotten to today has actually dampened our spirit, and that is also going to help us take a very decisive decision. When we made the first attempt, let me say that it was through newspapers and other civil society organizations and some few members who are working in the region. But today we have come to see things with our naked eyes. I think PUC must not sit down aloof for these things to go on. So we are going to deal with the government on this very issue and ensure that steps are taken immediately to ensure that our water bodies are restored so that we can get good water to drink.
I understand you also be heading to Chebi. What's the plan for that place as well?
Yes, it's the same plan, and we want to be sure that what is happening in Kwanyako is the same. That's what's happening in the eastern region, that's the Chebi. Because the source of water, the source of the river or the source of this flood is coming all the way from the eastern region where Galamsey activity is seriously going on there. So we want to see things with our own naked eyes so that you'll be informed when taking decisions.
Well, when you say you're going to take decisive decisions, what are the considerations on your table?
The consideration is to engage the government and also ask the government to take very pragmatic decisions on the Galamsey issue. Galamsey must stop. It must stop. Whatever means, whatever ways that the government will take to ensure that the Galamsey activities are kept in this very country, we will demand that from the government.
Well, the president, I mean, in his just the press encounter he had and also the meetings with the CSOs, you heard him clearly that he wasn't going to declare a state of emergency. He also says that NIMOS is working to ensure that these activities are kept. But with what you've seen today, do you think that a state of emergency should be declared?
My sister, as for the state of emergency, I think it's something that is very, very, very important and very urgent. And there are so many other ways that can also be used in curbing this Galamsey manage. So TUC will consider that, and we will refer to our previous statement because you have to be very consistent in whatever we are requesting and demanding for the government to do. So after our visit, the structures of the TUC will meet and the decisive decision will be made. But for now, we are sounding caution and also requesting the president to take a very decisive action immediately so that Ghanaians will not die because of the activities of Galamseyers.
All right. Grateful for your time, Joshua Nsai, Secretary General of the TUC and his group at the Kwanyako water plant, which has been shut down, because of Galamsey activities. And the Ministry for Labour, Jobs and Employment is taking a proactive step towards ensuring a safe and healthy work environment with the establishment of 16 regional workforce units. These units will monitor workplaces, tackle stress, and promote employee well-being, ultimately boosting productivity and reducing the risk of non-communicable diseases. Mamavi Sefakote has more on the following report read to you.
Organized by Mentor Pulse Africa in Accra, brought together health and labor experts to discuss strategies for promoting employee well-being and reducing the risk of non-communicable diseases. The Minister for Labour, Jobs and Employment, Honourable Rashid Pelpo, outlined measures the ministry has implemented to safeguard employees' health while boosting productivity.
I have set a workforce to respond to the present need to have workplace security around the country, and it's everywhere else in the regions of Ghana, that I want to make sure factory inspectors, factory means not just factory as in the ones producing goods and stuff, but every other organization where you have an office and you employ people, there must be safety in the place. The safeness and the health needs of them must be taken care of before you can commission them to work.
Member of Parliament for the Garo constituency, Thomas Kofi Anaba, has called for economic initiatives to help employees combat non-communicable diseases.
Let's take employee health issues as a very serious thing to do. Motivate them, ensure they have flexible time hours that they can work, ensure they go on vacations, ensure that they have recreational activities. Let them be happy and let them be healthy. In that way, productivity will increase. That is the reason why I said NCDs are no longer just a mere health issue, but an economic issue.
Manuel Kranting, CEO of Mentor Pulse Africa, explained that the summit was prompted by the rising risk of non-communicable diseases amongst workers, which is affecting both productivity and overall employee well-being, and called for the implementation of an employee toolkit proposal.
We want to ensure that people go on their leave. It must be mandatory. It must be enforced. That toolkit is going to make sure that employers enforce that for the benefit of the employees and also for the organizations. There are well-being programs that we are encouraging employers to establish and implement. For instance, we need well-being hubs in the organizations. Every organization should have a mental health and well-being specialist, maybe not as part of their staff to start with, but somebody who they can go to regularly to speak to check in with, and make sure that they are in the right mental and physical frame of health to continue doing their work.
NCDs are responsible for over 41 million deaths each year, a figure that is equivalent to 74% of all death globally. Employers need to factor the well-being of their staff in their policies. Mama V. Safakote's report for Joy News.
The latest Pure Earth report on mercury and other heavy metals impact assessment has found dangerous levels of mercury vapor in the air across some illegal mining communities. The report shows concentrations far above accepted safety limits. Health experts warn that inhaled mercury is more potent than other forms and could trigger a public health crisis in mining areas where mercury is heated to extract gold. Michael Ashali reports for this week's Clean Air.
They have polluted rivers, destroyed forests, and left the earth scarred. But a new report by Pure Earth reveals that the damage runs deeper. Illegal mining has contaminated food and water across several communities with dangerous levels of heavy metals. For years, many believed the threat was local, something they could escape by avoiding food and water from mining zones. But now, the Pure Earth report warns the danger is in the air. According to the Pure Earth report on mercury and other heavy metals impact assessment, air samples taken from some regions recorded mercury concentrations far higher than what is considered safe.
So we have a device called a Jerome. Jerome measures the mercury vapor in the air. And so we hold that, we turn it on, and it's able to tell us, the amount of mercury vapor in the air at that particular time. And then we do that around, we don't just measure. So if you go to the site, we'll measure about 90 times to be able to establish a mean. Of course, the average values, the maximum values, as part of the work we've done.
Reverend Dr. Esmond Kwanzaa has spent years studying mercury contamination.
Across all these 6 regions,
we found mercury in the soil in very, very high levels. And I think Konongo, Zongo, and Konongo Odumase, rank top with highest values. That is shocking. And then we look at mercury also in the air, in almost all the sites. In fact, the standard mercury in the air ambient is 1 microgram per cubic meter. That's the standard. But we've seen an average of about 1.84 microgram per cubic meter. And in some cases, Kwanyako, we've seen the mercury vapor in the air as much as 150
That's a
microgram per cubic meter. I mean, from just one being a standard to 150. And so if you look at the average, which is about 84%, 1.84 microgram per cubic meter in all the sites, that is really worrying.
What worries him most isn't just what happens at mining sites, it's where the danger travels.
We've seen a lot of these sites where, and that's for me my worrying concern, because the gold is extracted from the bush, then they bring this amalgam to the community to burn, where there are a lot of homes. I mean, if you go to Obuasi, for example, you can see some of these activities also happening, not far from Nyame Bechere, where we did some of the work as well. So this is really concerning.
When mercury is heated, it turns into vapor, a gas that is both colorless and odorless. But the moment it's inhaled, it becomes a toxin the body cannot handle. To understand the impact, I spoke with Dr. Denzel Tay, a medical doctor at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital.
Now, when you inhale mercury, you inhale something we call elemental mercury. And one of the first things it does is that it goes to your lungs, where it can cause all manner of complications. Unlike other minerals like zinc and iron, your body can use those minerals. But when it comes to mercury, it's purely toxic. Your body has no use for it, and so it begins a process that can lead to death. The danger is particularly with long-term exposure to mercury, because in that case, a lot of the time, you are not even aware you are being exposed to mercury. By the time the symptoms begin to develop, there's very little we can do to prevent death or the terrible consequences of mercury toxicity or mercury poisoning.
He explains that while mercury in food or water is dangerous, inhaling the vapor is far worse, a point echoed by senior lecturer and health toxicologist Dr. John Ako Mensah of the University of Ghana School of Public Health.
In the study of poisons, that is called toxicology, the route of exposure is very important. So some things, because elemental mercury, when you eat it, actually it doesn't do much to the body. But when you inhale it, it's a different thing altogether. When you inhale vapor, mercury vapor, then the effect can be immediate. And the danger is that when it gets into blood, it's able to cross membranes and actually even cross two barriers that are regulated in the body, the blood-brain barrier and the placental barrier.
And it's not just the miners who are exposed. Even those miles away breathe the same toxic air.
You don't smoke cigarettes, but you live with someone who smokes cigarettes. You inhale the same fumes and whatever. So it's the same thing. So the communities can be equally affected as those who are doing it. And since it's all over the country, the health risk down the line is going to be immense.
For victims of mercury exposure, treatment is limited and often too late.
We can even give you something we call chelators, which binds the mercury and take it out of your body if you present early enough. So in the case of mercury, the chelator we use is either saxima or dimercaprol. So they'll bind to the mercury and then it comes out. But that's if we intervene early enough. You can't really use chelators in someone who has been exposed to mercury over years, because at that point it has already caused the damage.
For Reverend Dr. Kwanta, the findings are heartbreaking. not only because of what the data reveals, but because of what it means for Ghana's future.
As an environmentalist, I feel like shedding tears sometimes.
Wow.
I mean, how the environment is destroyed. It's unbelievable. And of course, the water bodies can no longer, we can survive on them. And now we're seeing values of mercury in the air, which means you don't need to actually eat or play with the soil to have that.
Or even drink it.
But just breathing it can really cause harm too.
Illegal mining may be filling pockets with gold, but it's also filling lungs with poison. The mercury vapor that miners breathe today will linger in the air long after the last pit is dug. And if the burning continues, no one, not even those far from the mines, will truly be safe. Mercury, the invisible price of gold, is now the poison in the air we all share. This story was a collaboration with New Narratives. Funding was provided by the Clean Air Fund, which had no say in the story's content. For Joy News, Michael Ashali.
While you're watching Joy News Desk, we'll take a break. We'll return with business. Welcome back to Joy Business, and it's time for Business with Michelle.
Hi, Mami Esina. Let's get into our stories. The government has begun the rollout of a major cocoa farming initiative targeting women and youth, with plans to develop 200,000 hectares of cocoa plantations. Spearheaded by the Office of the President in collaboration with the Cocoa Board, the project aimed to boost employment and revitalize the sector. Here's more from the Agricultural Innovation for Africa Conference organized by AGRA and the Cosmos Innovation Center.
The two-day event is bringing together policymakers, investors, agripreneurs, and development partners to explore practical solutions to challenges in food systems, youth employment, and food sustainability. According to Director for Presidential Initiatives in Agriculture, Dr. Peter Otokuno, the country's cocoa sector has not attracted many youth due to the lack of incentives and other methods in cultivation. He stressed that the new program to cultivate about 200,000 hectares will give opportunity to many youth to venture into the sector.
We want to target 200,000 hectares. What strategy do we use to get to this 200,000 hectares? First of all, let's secure the land. When we secure the land, let's look at land development. How do we mobilize resources to do land development? You have drip, the machines are there. You can do that land development. When you are done, you need inputs to develop the land. We have the inputs. Craig is producing the inputs for Cocoa Board. They have the seedlings. So you move the seedlings there. You need the young people to manage the various clusters. How do you handle them? YE has initiatives to pay allowances to them. Then you put all this together. You have started an initiative, and it's running. And as it stands now, we have secured some of the land. We are working towards the land development. By next year, by next season, we would start the plantation in some of the areas.
The Cosmos Innovation Center and AGRA are hosting the event as part of their contribution to increase food production in Ghana through modern technology. Here's Executive Director of Cosmos Innovation Center, Benjamin John Kesse.
We currently have 81 funded startups that are in our community that we work with. And these are from all the partner universities and colleges that we work with, 16 of them. But in that, we have also trained thousands, literally thousands of young people across the country and given job opportunities and created jobs for over 50,000 young people across the country. I mean, this is the opportunity that we have had also to work with the likes of the MasterCard Foundation to be able to do that. We also run this program called the School Farm Program. This also helps to changing mindset of young people, and basically to get them to understand that agriculture has opportunities. And currently we are working in 700 junior high schools and senior high schools across the country. With training going into over 77,000 students who have participated in the program and also learning the rudiments of agriculture, seeing the opportunities in agriculture.
This third edition of the conference will include a youth clinic and exhibition of various agri-products.
Now, the Ghana Cocoa Board is encouraging cocoa farmers to report invasion of their farms by illegal miners to their quarters for a swift response. Now, through the Cocoa Board's Special Services Department, credible information on illegal mining in cocoa farms is supplied to the security agencies for redress. Head of Public Affairs of Cocoa Board, Jerome Sam, says the institution has stepped up efforts to deal with the menace, which poses a threat to cocoa sustainability. Nanaya Aljima has more in the following report.
It is estimated that at least 35,000 hectares of cocoa farms have been destroyed by illegal mining activities. This is among reasons for decline in cocoa production in the country. Though some farmers have willingly given out their farms to miners, many are forcefully taken over. The Cocoa Board says it is strengthening systems to deal with invasion of farms to safeguard the industry. Head of Public Affairs at Cocoa Board, Jerome Sam, explains.
We have a department called the Special Services Department. They are kind of the investigative and enforcement body of Cocoa Board. So when it comes to the issues of illegal mining and coal, we report to them for them to follow up. We also have the Tree Protection Unit under the Office of the Chief Executive, which also receives issues or complaints about illegal activities. They also follow up, bring their reports, and then we also submit to the necessary security agencies for them to do what? For them to follow up.
The Cocoa Board is enhancing other factors to improve productivity. Already, distribution of fertilizers and other inputs are being rolled out for farmers.
We all can attest that fertilizers are being coming in. We also have some agrochemicals coming in, but they want it in certain quantity, which Cocoa Board indeed has agreed to it that whatever be the number, they are going to supply. Before leaving Accra, we've made provision for over 2 million liters of what agrochemicals to be supplied nationwide to our cocoa farmers.
Meanwhile, the farmers have lauded the recent increase in the prices, but called for the strengthening of measures to deal with illegal mining. For Joy News, Nanaya Aljima, Kumasi.
For business, I am Michelle Ejekum. For more business news, please log on to myjoyonline.com. Mamisi.
Yes, Michelle, thank you for that. And that's how we end Joy in News Desk this week. We'll be back again on Monday. See you.